Morning, everyone. This is Friday. Whew. So this month we're gonna spend a little time with time. And hi there. If you're joining, yeah, just drop your name in the chat where you are in the world and one word that describes how you're doing today. Welcome. So yeah, this came up because I've been just kind of feeling into the season, and I find that this time of year can often shine a light on patterns that are either supporting or disrupting my well-being, my sense of balance, particularly when it comes to my relationship with time. Summers are full, very often kind of out of routine, out of the school year. Um, and there can be a lot of fun in that this time of year, a lot of excitement, a lot of momentum from solstice season, from the growing season to keep going with all the summer opportunities, and a lot of momentum culturally for that as well. And I noticed that for me, at least, I can easily overdo it. And it kind of starts to feel like, a wave that's cresting, and the top of the wave keeps going while the wave bottom that's, experiencing the friction of the ground, it's like slowing down. So there is this momentum, but there's kind of an undercurrent that's maybe feeling the coming fall. And starting to slow down or needing a little more space. And when I find if that I'm overdoing it in this season, it often ends up looking like irritability and fatigue. My sleep gets disrupted. I will have kind of ruminating thoughts about what I'm getting done or not getting done. And yeah, like anxiety about time, not having enough time. And I found myself saying this aloud the other day, which was kind of what prompted this topic for the month. So we'll be spending some time this month with time, our relationship with time. Time as an energy and an entity that we're interacting with on many layers, on somatic layers, on energetic layers, on um, mental layers, and relational layers. And really inquiring around, exploring how can we relate to time in ways that are more nourishing, more life-giving, how we might want to calibrate or readjust habits and orientations we have with time. So my hope for myself, even, and for folks joining, that there will be invitations to slow down, to linger, to be bored, to daydream, to allow for kind of the spacious musings that kind of that nostalgic feel of August can have, for me at least. So today I wanted to share three mindset shifts, or kind of orientations towards time, that have been really helpful for me. And yeah, I'll be curious to see if there's anything in them for you. So the first one, well, yeah, and each of these are intended to help, at least they're ways that help me interrupt my kind of addiction to busy and reorient to time in a more spacious way. So the first of these, you probably know this already, but the time is a construct, right? So time, at least our notion of time, is socially created, socially agreed upon. My favorite example of this is the movie Arrival, which is one of my favorite movies, and I won't try not to ruin it for anybody if you haven't seen it, because you should see it, because it's really good. But one thing that movie really brings out is that how our particularly how like our relationship with language and our understanding through words and language impacts our experience of time and space and the world around us. Um, and that as our kind of worldview or mindset or language around time shifts, our experience of time can shift. So, the modern Western world, we live primarily in linear time, right? Like the really the meta narrative of the arc of progress of time moving in this linear and sort of upward moving way, which as we're coming on the edge of at least this cycle of modernity's expansion and contraction, we're having more examples of how that's just not true. There's not an infinite, like, upward expanding trajectory of time. Or it's not true in some ways, right? There are other ways to experience time. I also have found this to be true for me, at least, in that, like, my experience of time is flexible, right? Like, depending on circumstances. If you're doing something you love, time can feel like it goes really, really quickly. If it's something tedious or not enjoyable, or if you're a kid, time can seem so long. This also gets highlighted often in ceremony and ritual, where time takes on this sort of timelessness, right? Like where it can feel like we've been journeying for hours and hours, and maybe we come out and it's been 20 minutes. Or the inverse, it can feel like it's gone by in an instant, and half the day is gone. So our experience of time is really flexible. And the last piece around this, time as a construct principle, is that the way, at least that I've been attempting to observe and experience differently time through the natural world, is that there is a much more sort of cyclical dynamic that is possible to experience with time tuning into the natural world. It's cyclical and also layered. Like, there's a lot of simultaneity. Like, many things can be happening all at once. And the in sort of the bigger sort of metaphysical worldview of time, all of time is occurring all at once, right? And sort of the God worldview of time. So there are lots of ways to experience time, and time is linear, and the kind of trap of that linear time is only the most dominant version of it. So the second principle or sort of mindset shift that's been really valuable for me is that I am the one and really only guardian and steward of my time. We all have this. The time is one of the great equalizers. Like, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, and of course there's lots of other factors that play into how we're able to sort of harness or leverage those hours, and that is very diverse, but the hours themselves are the same for all of us. And what has been really important for me to kind of get right with is that no one is going to manage that for me. And particularly if I'm if I'm doing something well, or doing something that I get like external validation for, no one's ever going to ask me to do less. I'm the only one who can manage that boundary. I'm the only one who really and the only one whose responsibility it is, right? And for me, as I kind of lightly, but in a true way, I take on this identify as a recovering workaholic. This feels especially true for me, like that my sobriety depends on being judicious with my time and commitments, and to really keep an eye on those little highs I get from feeling useful or feeling productive, and getting that external validation. Um, and it's things that this has been true for my whole young adult um, life, that it's things that look very good on the outside. I've always gotten a lot of external validation for my doing, but in ways that on the inside caused a lot of internal disharmony. So I really had to get right with that it's no one else's job to manage that for me. Like, I am the only one. So in light of that, I've really had to draw on lots of different tools to relate in a more balanced way with time. And one that I'll share with you is just a little mantra that I've used for years now to set the tone of my dynamic with time, and to interrupt when I get into sort of a contracted state, or a spiral around the need to be busy, the need to, which is really about like needing to feel better about myself, like needing to feel some sense of worth from my doing. And the mantra that I use is, I have a spacious relationship with time. I have a spacious relationship with time. And, of course, this often is more of an affirmation of what I'm intending to be true, or kind of, spell casting for what I call into presence in a particular moment when I have not maybe been in alignment with that. So yeah, maybe if it feels useful for you, you can just kind of try it on right now. Like, I have a spacious relationship with time. I have a spacious relationship with time. And you can take that if that feels useful to you. You can adjust it, adapt it. And really, I'll just invite us now to inquire, like, when you find yourself saying or feeling there's never enough time, just invite you to kind of hold that experience in your body right now, and just maybe asking, like, what does that feel like? What is the physical experience of that in your body? And as I'm tuning into, for me, it's often, it often feels like just like a lot of pressure in my forehead. It's like kind of this pulling in and up, all the way up sensation. Yeah, real narrow and rigid through just the top portion of my head and chest. Yeah, my throat feels contracting, jaw. So yeah, just invite you to explore that for yourself, and then invite you to consider what might be the antidote to that state. Like, what might bring a little bit of expansion or relaxation in that particular moment in your physical body. So you don't have to do anything about it, but what's the shift that needs to happen in your system, in your soma, to alleviate that. But for me, I'm describing it as contraction. It might be a different quality for you. So what might be a simple antidote to that state? What's the way you want to feel in relationship to time, is another way to say it. So if you are feeling into this now or later, if you have a word or a phrase or a statement that you want to try, you can just drop it in the chat. And I'd love to hear what you're imagining, what you're kind of sensing that might work for you. So what might be the antidote to the thought pattern and that physical state of contraction around time. Okay, so thank you so much for joining today, and maybe we'll just take these last few moments to be with that antidote. So whether it's I have a spacious relationship with time, or something that you're coming up with on your own, just invite a couple of breaths with that. I have a spacious relationship with time. And just tracking how that antidote kind of moves through your system. Noticing for me, I have it allows my body to kind of rest back, and I feel much more space through the back of my body, through my low back. I feel that opening in my throat. Oh, I just feel like a lot more heaviness in a good way, in a pleasant way through my system. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling this like what does it take? What kind of postural shift is being asked for to like let time be an ally, like to have time be a friend here, or more of a companion and less like something I'm in an antagonistic dynamic with. Okay. So I'd love to hear what you experienced from that. If you want to drop it in the chat now or later, if you feel if there was a word or a phrase that came up for you as a possible sort of antidote, a possible sort of disruptor of that busy contraction. Yeah, I'd love for you to share it in the chat. All right. See you later, and take good care, and see you next week.